Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, a new beta for Zorin has dropped, and so we want to go ahead and have a look at that. So first, over at their website, we can head on over and find the basic information on their blog. Now, if you are new to Zorin OS, this is an OS that is billed as being a good, user-friendly, available for a wide range of hardware. They have the core version, which is based on a highly customized GNOME, and they have a light version, which is XFCE. And they do have some of the most beautiful theming. However, in the past, we said it's a little bit bright. They have listened to that criticism, and in this particular version, they have actually dropped that down so that it is now easier to look at. But regardless, let's go ahead and have a brief look. So this is out. It's mostly a whole fundamental redesign of the theming, which brings it in line with the modern, highly rounded corners, very much like Deepin. I'm not completely sure. I'm completely on board with it. I think it's more retro than anything else, but nevertheless, it is following in a lot of the modern trends. We're seeing more rounded corners. We're seeing a lot of different devices do this. We're seeing more blurred effects and things like that. So it does bring in a lot more modern theming elements, and we'll have a look at the theming and the accent colors. We do have some dynamic wallpapers that change by the course of the day. And of course, here's that blurring effect that I was mentioning as well, with how they're just blurring your picture for the login screen. Very Apple-esque, I guess. They're saying it is a smoother and a faster performance. And the next biggest change is all embedded inside of your software manager. We now have snaps and we have Flatpaks embedded. Now, if you don't like snaps, this might turn you off a little bit because you cannot disable it without, I'm sure you could go in and find a way to disable it, but there's no easy toggle button to turn it off. Same thing with your Flatpaks. It can still install deb files and app images as well. And there is an Ubuntu and a Zorin software repository. So really that's kind of what you get. There's a few other things. Trackpads have better gestures and things. Those are coming in. I'm not sure if those are coming in with the new version of GNOME. I'm not sure which version of GNOME they're using. We'll go ahead and have a look at that. But ultimately, they really have made it look pretty nice overall. So let's go ahead and just jump on over to the desktop and have a look at what it looks like. So here we are, and I installed it, and then I made sure that all of our updates were processed just to make sure that we have our system as up to date as we can possibly get it. So when we go ahead and get logged in over here, first let's go ahead and let's boot up a terminal. I just want to see what kernel we are working with. So let's go with uname. If I can type, I'm not sure I can type. So we are at 5.8, so not the absolute newest kernel, but that is certainly not an old kernel either. Not sure if we can find the GNOME version. Maybe we can just go back in the terminal and look at the GNOME version, I guess. I don't remember if it's GNOME or GNOME Shell, so let's just go ahead and try GNOME first. No. Is it GNOME Shell? So we are 3.38 is the version of GNOME. So there's what we are dealing with kind of under the hood. As we said, it is a highly customized desktop. To look at it, you'd be like, really, that's GNOME. That looks really good. That couldn't be GNOME. It's cool. It works, you know? And so that is definitely something that we see. You can see that the theming is now a little bit darkened up here on the light mode, so it's not blinding as the center of the sun, which is certainly one of the criticisms a lot of people, myself including, have had. And one of the great things is that Zorin does listen to feedback. It was indeed some of us in the Linux community who made videos raising awareness of the Zorin census, and now that is an option inside the installer. Now it is opt-out in the installer, not opt-in. I would still kind of like it to see it opt-in instead, but hey, at least we have the option, and it's clear when you're installing it what the options happen to be. As far as the theming is concerned, the Zorin Appearance application will give you a variety of different build outs. So we have this one here is more of your more traditional. This was more of a Redmond build. So this is the one I would be most inclined to use because I like seeing my list of tasks. I want to see what's open at the bottom and read the screen. That helps me in my workflow. We have this mode here, which is maybe a little bit Mac-esque. Not completely Mac, but Mac-esque. And then we have this one over here. Now, if you buy the Ultimate, there are some extra themes, including a little bit closer to a Mac type. I guess maybe this one might be another Mac type as well. Maybe this one's even a little bit better because the bar's at the top, I guess. I don't know. We'll just go back to the defaults for this. Inside of your theme, you have Zorin, or you can go with other and you can pull in applications. And then with this, you can go ahead and pick one of a number of highlight colors. So you can kind of choose whether you want light theme, dark theme, or if you go with this one here, you can either do sunset to sunrise, which case it's going to choose your sunset and sunrise from the geolocation of your IP address, or you can set it manually. This is another thing that I know I raised a concern about before they had the manual in there, because like I don't want anything changing settings based upon my IP address. And they actually went ahead and added a manual option in there as well. So now we have some options on that. So there we have it. Let's just go back. You know what? Let's go ahead and do the dark theme, and we'll do a gray highlight dark theme for the rest of the video here. Here is inside of your interface here. You have where the title buttons are, either to the left or to the right. We can enable or disable animations. Jelly mode will be kind of like this. If you guys remember those old wobbly window type things. Woo, we got jelly, yo, it's jelly. And so you have that going on. And then here is, you can choose what the, is it what you can do? Oh, super left key. Okay, so you can choose whether that's the activities overview or Zorin. And then you can do hot corners or not. I keep those off. I hate hot corners. So we'll go ahead and keep those off. And here is you can adjust the taskbar with different sizes. I think it's a little bit too big out of the box, so I'll go down to that size. That might be a little bit too small. Can we go a happy medium? We can go a happy medium. There you go. I like that better. That's just a personal thing, but you can choose whether you want it bigger or smaller. I think the default size is fine for most people, so that's all good. So there's your Zorin taskbar. Under our desktop, this is a GNOME that has desktop icons enabled by default. Look at that. We have desktop icons, everybody. We can create new items, and we even already have our right context menu here for new documents. Will actually give you the option to create the writer documents in there as well. You can choose the icons that are on your desktop or not, so that's good. And then you can completely disable icons on the desktop if you like, and then you only have the option to change backgrounds on a context menu click on the desktop. So that is the way I prefer it. Another one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of GNOME, but these guys have done an excellent job moving us in that general direction. So there we have it with that. The next major change here is the Software Center. So inside of the Software Center, on any given application, you have a variety of options. You can see that because it's an Ubuntu base, it seems to be defaulting to the Snap Store. I wish they would not do that. But if you pull down the source up here, you can see we have the FlatHub, the Snap Store. Now you'll notice a few different versions. This is because the Snap Store will allow you to have a few different versions. This is 2.4.2, this is 3.0, and I guess this is 3.0 as well. One of them is the latest candidate, the other is the latest Edge. And then we do have this one here from the repository. So you can see the repository version is 2.3.3, which is quite old by now. This is why I'm not a huge fan of the Snaps, Flatpaks, app images, because it disincentivizes people from updating your repository versions, because it's like, the 2.3.3 is, at this point in time, a little bit old. This is a brand new version. Maybe we could add something newer in there, but they might be tied into what Ubuntu is doing. But again, Ubuntu is prioritizing snaps, and that's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of it. But still, you do have the option to go in there, and you do have the option to choose whether you're downloading from the snap, the app image, or the repository. Excuse me, from the Flatpak, the snap, or the repository. There is no feed of app images, although you can add app images without without a problem by downloading them. You can see the list of what is installed, and it will notify you when you do have updates. So that is pretty good. Another new feature that it has is it has Zorin Connect, which is a way that you can connect your mobile device and you can sync your phone's notifications. You can browse photos from your phone, reply to SMS messages, share links and websites between, and use the phone as remote control for your desktop. And when you do this, you can see that you can grab this on Google Play Store. You can grab the F-Droid. So you need one of those two mobile applications, and it is excellent that they have the open source version from F-Droid. We have a browser add-on from Chrome or from Firefox, not any better. So there we have it. And then once you get this installed and set it up, then you can attach it. I did not test this out for the purpose of this. I'll assume it does what it says. I'm not a huge fan of connecting my phones to my computers. They have different OPSECs for very specific reasons. There's no need to integrate those together. Out of the box, we have our basic suite of software installed, everything that we might expect. Here we have some basic games. We do not have Wine installed by default. You can install it from the repository. And let's go ahead and walk through the tour. My apologies for the loud noise. Let me turn that down a little bit. Man, that's loud. So over here, welcome to the Zorin. Let's go ahead and start the tour now that I've already given you a tour already. So, of course, you can open that up for the menu. Wow, that's groundbreaking. You can choose your appearance. We've already looked at that. Speed up the virtual machine by installing guest editions. I did not do that. We are on a virtual machine, and it is running very snappy. So maybe we didn't even necessarily need to do that. We can connect our online accounts. Since this is based on GNOME, interesting. I don't know where online accounts happens to be at. Let's look for settings. Go ahead and pull in settings there. There we are. There's where we can do our online accounts. Google, Nextcloud, Facebook, Microsoft, Flickr, Foursquare, and Microsoft Exchange. So those are your options for those. Here is the Zorin Connect information. Here is about apps. We can launch the software store there. There is LibreOffice is installed. We have an option here for OnlyOffice as well. And then there is a link to the help page inside of there. So there is, in a nutshell, the new version of Zorin. Zorin has always been, for me, it is a very nice option. It's not one I've used as a main daily driver, but it definitely has a lot of appeal to a person who wants a very modern Linux-based system that will work on a wide variety of new and old hardware. It just works. It works well. It's based on Ubuntu, so it's going to continue to work well because Ubuntu does work well, whether you love it or you hate it. So there is the options to have a look at it. We did talk about, the biggest downsides. It would be cool if they had toggle buttons to enable or disable Flatpaks or snaps like Manjaro does, because some people just don't like them. I am not a fan of snaps. I'm not 100% completely and 100% totally against them, but I'm not a fan of them. I will use them only as a last resort. But I would like the option to disable that so I don't accidentally install a snap package when I mean to install something in a repository and I'm in a hurry and not forgetting to change that toggle down button. Other than that, though, they have fixed a lot of things. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the deep rounded corner trend that everybody is going to, but that's the direction they're going. That's okay. Other than that, though, it's very good. It's clean. It's simple. It works nicely out of the box. You have a variety of different layouts. It has more available software than most other Linux distributions because of the integration of Snap and Flatpak, and overall, it is going to be an excellent choice. This is the core version. Assumably, there will be a light version of this coming down the pipeline as well. Keep an eye on the Zorin website for more information when that might be coming out, and that is at zorin.com. I think it's zorin.com anyway. I'm on the blog site here, and that's blog.zorin.com. So there we have it. So thanks for watching this video, and let me know your thoughts of Zorin. Is it your daily driver? And is it something that you've had good experiences with? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.